All right, good afternoon. This is Neil. Got the Monday evening videos here to kind of kick off the week. First thing is this week has got, as I mentioned to you last week on Friday, this week has got more than enough in it to make a difference. I'll run through it with you real quick. This week we've got the inflation numbers with CPI and PPI, also retail sales. There's an OPEC meeting, a 10-year auction, mortgage applications, jobless claims, and a slew of earnings. And on the earnings front, kind of gets started softly with Pepsi and Delta, but then it moves into JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Citibank, BlackRock, Taiwan Semi, U.S. Bancorp, and United Health. So, and Fed speakers. Bailey's been on and will be again. And then we've got Fed's Williams on throughout the week a little bit as well. So, interesting week, and then expiration at the end of the week. The one thing that shocks me about this whole thing is the fact that with all of that, there's only 100 plus or minus priced into the options chain to start the week, and 80 of that still remaining after today's price action. That's the one thing that I really can't quite get my head wrapped around. That seems awfully mild by comparison to, that much potential volatility. But we shall see. So here's the deal. Look, start with me 4,200, breaks into 36.50. And then, if you recall from there, we had 2 weeks ago, 36 by 39.50. And then last week was 37.50 by 39.20, which made for an inside week. So 2 weeks ago, the high was 39.50, and last week it was 39.20. Then 2 weeks ago, the low was lower than last week's low at 37.50, so inside week. Also, start with the 42s to the bottom of the break. This high that was made on Friday at 39.22, if you pull that fib, you're going to find that high is a 50% fib. So it's a 50% uptick that was stalled by, Friday's trade, Friday's high. But it was the high for Friday, it was the high for the week. And, so that's certainly not all that bad. Anyway, today we come in slightly soft, not a big deal. I mean, my goodness, what it did was it traded back to the weekly pivot. That's all this is. Weekly pivot's at 38.57. And now that we're kind of done with this chart, I'm going to go to the volume real quick for you and show that was also today's point of control. That was balanced for today, right on the weekly pivot. So that is clearly, in my opinion at least, going to be your over-under for tomorrow, Tuesday's trade. In tomorrow's, this is strange to me, but in tomorrow's options chain, you've got plus or minus 35 priced in. Seems like it would be more than that to me, but that's what it is. And we're going to do that from 38.57. So if you want to go round numbers, call it 60, and 35 puts it 38.95 up here. If you're there, then in my opinion, it's also, if it's there, then it's also going to reach for the weekly open, which this is where I'm going to put your bullish targets. The weekly open and the last week's balance point of control at 39.05. So you take all that, look, those numbers are 38.95 by 39.05. Why don't we just agree that we're going to call the bullish target 3900? I mean, you start from 60 and 35 is 95, right? You got 95 and 05. Why don't we just agree we call that 3900, which is back to the Sunday night weekly open. And if it trades there, it'll, like I said, it'll surely probably trade 05, but you know, what's a couple of points if you're on side like that. And then on the other side, we need a target down here, don't we? About 35 lower for tomorrow. So that to me looks pretty simple. That would be 38.30, and it's the same kind of thing. You know, you do have a little speed bump right there at 40, but I don't think we worry about that. If it's reaching 35, it's going to push into potentially down into this value area low from last week at 25. But then also, why don't we, as we did on the top, call it split the difference and make it 38.30, right? So over under 60. Target on the bottom, we'll call it 30 and 25, split the difference 30, but 30 and 25 on the bottom. On the top, we just explained how we come up with those numbers up there as well. And that's what I got. It's very, very possible that tomorrow is a just two-way trade. Get ready for the fireworks to start. It's kind of a Wednesday kickoff this week, to be honest with you. That's when you get the CPI and that kind of thing. So that's the focus. But we do Monday night videos to kind of prepare for what's ahead, and that's what's ahead. 35 plus or minus tomorrow. About 80 left. Surprisingly, only that left for the rest of the week. I'm surprised by that, but 35 plus or minus tomorrow, so we'll go with that for now. And then I'll see you again on Wednesday night. So for now, I hope this helps, and look forward to being with you again soon. Good night.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me